Hey everyone, my name is TickleGames and this is Double Time, and today we're taking a look at the recent expansion for Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls. So as you may or may not remember, when Diablo 3 originally came out, there were a few problems with it. People were a little unhappy about various aspects of the game, like the story and the auction house and it being online all the time and Error 37 and it wasn't Diablo 2. But on March 4th, Blizzard dropped patch 2.0 and revitalised an otherwise stale game with updated loot mechanics and a better difficulty system. So you didn't have to go through the same game 4 times just to get to the hardest difficulty and actually play the real game. They also removed that little auction house problem by deleting it. Reaper of Souls brings a lot to the plate this time round, including, but not limited to, a new act, a new vendor, upgrades to the Jewel Crafter and the Blacksmith, adventure mode, Nephilim Rifts, and the Crusader class. In terms of graphics, there hasn't been that much change between Diablo 3 and Reaper of Souls. I mean, maybe spells and shit look slightly prettier, but I'll be damned if I can tell the difference. It's just as it was, and that's not really a bad thing. There wasn't really a huge outcry for better textures or anything like that, so why bother? It still looks like Diablo, and that's what really counts. The environments in Act 5 are varied and serve to set this act apart from the previous 4. Streets filled with corpses, marshy swamplands, high heavens, but not the same ones we've already been to. That kind of stuff. There's also a buttload of new armour models to make you feel like you've been dragged through the plate mail section of Primarch backwards at a high speed. If there's ever one thing you can expect from a Blizzard game, it's great sound design and music, and Reaper of Souls is no exception to that. When corpses explode, it's like having warm jam thrown into your ear canal. Odd, a little disgusting, but overall a pleasant experience. Speaking of pleasant but questionable experiences, there's a new class to talk about. The Crusader seems to exist to answer the question, what happens when a barbarian and a monk have a child? You end up with a walking plate mail shithouse swinging a giant flail around and healing itself. But that's not too bad, since you get a move where you summon a horse out of your arse and charge at light speed for 2 seconds, which at least makes travelling the maps a bit easier. You'll definitely want that mobility for Act 5, as it takes forever to get anywhere, and that might just be me being impatient or playing a wizard, but I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. At least along the way you're murdering the populace and stealing their treasured possessions. Once you've finished the campaign, you're given access to a whole new adventure mode, where you get to travel through areas, complete different tasks for rewards, and all of which culminate in a bigger reward, Nephilim Rifts, where you pretty much do the same job for more loot, but at least you don't have to sit around through the story over and over again listening to good old Uncle Deckard telling his tales and Leah just being an insufferable. Can't forget to mention the new vendor who's been plucked straight out of WoW and thrown into this game. She'll let you reforge stats on your gear and transmog it into sexier items if you have any. Returning in all this so-called glory is Tyrael, who seems to spend all of his time just mopping up other people's mistakes, which leads me to believe that he was more of a janitor in the high heavens than anyone actually useful. And alongside him, you'll occasionally bump into Imperius, who if you played Diablo 3 you may recall was a bit of a prick.
But know this, Nephilim, even if you release Malthael from his madness, I will not thank you for it.
Oh, and Adria's back. There's also a new angel hellbent on murdering humanity, and this time he's called Malthael, and he looks, sounds, and is pretty awesome. You know, besides the intent of murder and everything. His story is more interesting than the whole story of Leah and Diablo in Acts 1 to 4, but I guess that doesn't take much since it was absolute balls. And since that was too good a segue to ignore, here are my criticisms. The Crusader is just a reskin paladin right down to the moves he unlocks, and the well is not deep, it seems. More of a puddle that you could probably still drown in if you tried hard enough. It doesn't feel like there's that much to actually do once you've finished up the story and played in adventure mode for a bit, but that's possibly me just not wanting another game to grind my life away in pursuit of better numbers and better items. I like this game, but I did like Diablo 3, and if you want the same experience for less, then go play Path of Exile, because it's free. This could bring Blizzard's status back up after all the mistakes they made with the original Diablo 3, but who knows. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.